Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving straight into the news coming out of Old Trafford specifically, a recent announcement about significant player departures from Manchester United.
And our guide for this deep dive is the official article posted on the Manchester United website. That was this past Sunday, May 25, 2025, titled Man Udid Confirm 3 Departures.
Right. So our mission really is to take this official announcement, understand exactly who is leaving, and pull out the key details about their time at the club, based only on what this article tells us. It's about sifting through these facts to see what truly stands out for you.
Exactly. And the article confirms 3 experienced players are leaving now their contracts are up. Victor Lindelof, Jonny Evans, and Christian Eriksen.
And this confirmation, it arrived at a very specific moment, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
Right after United's final game of the season on Sunday, that 2-0 win against Aston Villa at Old Trafford.
Precisely. The announcement landed just after the final whistle of the season, marking the official close of their time at the club.
Okay, let's look at what the article highlights for each player then, starting with Victor Lindelof. His story, as told by the source, it's one of longevity, really. Consistent presence.
It really is. The article points straight to his impressive number of appearances, 284 times for the club, makes him the most featured of this particular trio.
He joined from Benfica back in the summer of 2017, which means he spent 8 seasons in Manchester. And the announcement credits him with, Emirates FA Cup and League Cup winners' medals in the preceding 2 campaigns.
Yeah, and there's specific FA Cup memory noted him coming off the bench in last year's final win against City.
Oh, right.
The article also lists his 4 goals, interestingly, all scored at Old Trafford. The last one was that winning strike against Luton Town last season.
4 goals, all at home. That's a neat detail. And the source also confirms his farewell game was indeed starting against Villa on Sunday, and it mentions his status as Sweden captain. So yeah, the picture is one of a solid long-term presence.
A dependable figure over 8 years certainly seems that way from the article.
Now, shifting gears a bit, from that picture of endurance, the article then introduces Jonny Evans. His connection to the club, as described here, it's pretty unique.
It really highlights he served the club for more than a decade, but across 2 distinct spells.
Yeah.
That's a fascinating detail right off the bat. Not many players get a second chapter like that.
He originally graduated from the academy, didn't he? Made his first team debut against Coventry City way back in autumn 2007.
After a loan spell, yeah.
Right, after a loan. The article says he was a regular in the back line for 7 seasons in that first period.
And here's where the article gives us a bit of sort of key historical context. It specifically mentions he forged a title-winning partnership with Rio Ferdinand during the 2012-13 Premier League title success. And it even notes he scored 4 goals from defense that season.
4 goals from defense in a title-winning campaign that really stands out, doesn't it?
It does.
The announcement adds he then spent 1 more season before making what it actually calls an emotional return in the summer of 2023.
That phrase, emotional return, it definitely captures a different dimension to his story, doesn't it? The article notes he scored 8 goals in total across both spells. His most recent one was away at Tottenham in the Carabao Cup last December.
And the source gives us a specific snapshot of his final moments on Sunday, coming on for 8 in heaven, getting stuck in with meaty challenges, it says.
Meaty challenges, yeah.
And being denied a headed goal right at the end by a Robin Olsen save.
Almost a storybook ending, but thwarted. His total appearances across both stints, the article says, tally up to 241.
Okay.
And it also lists the substantial trophies won in his first spell. 3 Premier League titles, 1 Champions League, 1 Club World Cup, and 1 League Cup.
Wow, that's a serious collection from his initial time there.
It is.
And the source confirms he added to that by coming off the bench in last year's FA Cup final during this most recent spell. And like Lindelof, he's a national captain too, leading Northern Ireland. His whole story, from academy to return. It's quite a journey described here.
It certainly encapsulates a different type of club connection and contribution compared to Lindelof.
Definitely. Okay, finally, Christian Eriksen. The article describes a shorter tenure at Old Trafford by comparison.
Yes, his time lasted only 3 years, but the announcement makes a point of stating his impact was strongly felt in M16.
M16, yeah, the Old Trafford postcode reference.
Exactly.
He made 107 appearances in those 3 seasons, and the source describes him as bringing, and I quote, a touch of class in midfield.
That phrase, a touch of class, it's a direct quote that really seems to define his role, according to this. He scored 8 times. 4 of those came in the opening months of the current campaign, including 2 in Europa League group stage matches.
It says he was a regular in his first season, earned a League Cup winner's medal, despite missing the final through injury. That must have been tough for him.
Yeah, it highlights that mix, doesn't it? Success and personal challenges that players face. The article does confirm he added an FA Cup medal the following season, though.
And his farewell moment on Sunday is particularly highlighted, isn't it?
It is.
The announcement says Bruno Fernandes allowed him to take the penalty against Aston Villa.
Right.
Leading to a special moment, celebrating with teammates.
A memorable way for him to sign off, really, after 3 years of contributing that touch of class they mentioned.
Yeah. The article then wraps up by mentioning the reception each player received on Sunday, a great ovation from the appreciative crowd. Seems like they were well regarded.
And the club's final remarks, as reported, are pretty straightforward. Just thanking Victor, Jonny, and Christian for their contributions and wishing them the best for the future. Standard, but important.
So pulling all this together then, what does this announcement, looking at these 3 really distinct pathways, you've got Lindelof's consistent 8 years coming from abroad, Evans' Academy Foundation, that unique 2-spell return, and then Eriksen's sort of intense 3 years of impact. What does this collection of stories, just from this single source, really show us about how players contribute to a club like Manchester United?
Well, what's fascinating here, I think, is how the article, by detailing these 3 individuals side by side, it sort of inadvertently presents this microcosm of the diverse ways players leave their mark, you know? It highlights that contribution isn't just one single metric. It can be measured in, like, enduring presence like Lindelof, or that historical connection and loyalty across time like Evans.
Right, the 2 spells.
Exactly. Or it can be concentrated, impactful quality over a shorter period, like Eriksen. The source shows us that, well, legacy at a club isn't just about length of service, is it? It's about the unique value each player brings during their time there, whatever shape that actually takes.
That's a really powerful way to look at it, that these aren't just 3 departures, but kind of 3 different examples of contribution, all described within one official club statement. Something for you to consider, maybe, as you think about the players who have shaped the clubs you follow. That wraps up our deep dive into this Manchester United player departure announcement.
And just to reiterate for everyone listening, everything we've discussed today came directly from that official club source, the article released on Sunday.
Keep exploring the topics that capture your interest.